So let's spend some time with Python Tutor just to visualize or simulate our code. So I went ahead and I created, let me say using namespace std. Okay, I went ahead and I created and declared an array containing 3 integers. And so let's look at what that looks like. So if I come up here, right, and I visualize, notice that we're actually creating 3 boxes. But I want you to pay attention to the fact that the position of the boxes are labeled at the top. Okay, and notice it's called an array. So this is an array. So notice that's how I create the array, right? So when I execute line 6, I have 3 boxes collectively under the name test. And so the first value, the first box, is at position 0. The second is at position 1, and the last one is at position 2. Again, why position 2? Well, because there are 3 items, and 3 minus 1 gives you the position of the last item. Now, we are able to change the items in an array. Okay, we're able to alter them. So let's say, for example, I wanted to replace 1, 2, 3 with 11, 22, 33. That's easy enough to do. All I have to do is to specify the position. Okay, so position 1, I want it to be assigned the value 11. Okay, let's say I want position 1. In fact, let's put the last position, position 2. We leave position 1 alone. Let's say I want 44. All right. So if I visualize this, okay, and I continue, so line 6, I have the initial values, and so on line 7, I want to update position 0. Great. All right, and so on line 8, I want to update position 2. Great. So position 1, excuse me, position 1 stays the same. Now, if I wanted, I could also update position 1. Okay, I could come down here and say position 1 is now 11, well, 111. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, great. Now let's make it a bit more interesting, because we know that we can use variable names on the right hand side, right? We know that, right? We've spent the last 4 or 5 weeks looking at how we must evaluate the right hand side to get a value that is then put into the left hand side. So let's do that. So for arrays, the same thing happens. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that position, let's say position 0 will actually contain what I find at position 0 plus what I find at position 1. Okay, great. And then I could also say position 1, okay, will now contain what I find in position 1, position 0, sorry, plus position 1 plus position 2. Again, this should not be any should not look strange to you, because we've done this before, where we evaluate the right hand side, we get a value, and then we store it on the left hand side. The same thing is happening here. Okay, so let's look at it. All right, so it starts off as being 11 and then 44, and now test 0, position 0 will become what is in position 0, 11, plus position 1, 2. So it should become 13, and it does. Likewise, position 1, which currently has 2, will now contain the sum of 0, 1, and 2. Alright, so all the values in the array will be added, and that result will be placed back into position 1. Alright, and there we go. So this is how we can update an array, update the elements in an array. And notice I'm using the term elements. So when I say elements, I'm referring to the values in the array. And when I say position, I'm actually referring to the numbers here at the top, which tells you where the elements are located. Okay, the values are located. We always start at position 0. Okay. Now, is there another way to create an array? What if I wanted to create an array that does not initially have any values? We can do that. So remember, we did something like int value, and then later on we said value is assigned to 100. We can do the same thing with arrays. So I will create an array, let's say of doubles. Okay, I'll call it maybe values. However, when I use the square bracket, I need to say how many values will the array contain, how many elements will this array contain. And so if I put 3 here and semicolon, and that's it. Okay, so later on now I can go back and I can fill in those values in the array, right? So name of the array, the position, okay, and maybe I put 12.45. okay, name of the array, position, 0.25, right? Name of the array, position, and 2.25. all right, let's look at that. Okay, all right, so now notice I have 2 arrays, 1 variable. Okay, although technically the array is still a variable, but we use different names to differentiate them. All right, so let's keep going. We've done this before. So now I create a regular variable, right? 1 box, set it to 100. Okay, and then here I'm going to create an array with 3 positions, 3 boxes capable of holding 3 values, and then of course I can go ahead and fill in those slots or those boxes with values. All right, and that's how I would do it. Now let me add one variation of this. Right, if I wanted, I could create an array based on a variable. So I could say double. Okay, let's change this from 100 to 10 or 15. All right, and so I could say double, maybe sizes, maybe, and then square bracket, and then I could actually say val. Okay, and again, all I'm doing is, instead of hard coding 15, I'm just using the variable name. All right, so if I run this, you'll notice that this one here creates an array, right, name sizes, right, of size 15, right? Obviously it's not created because I've never used it. So to fix that, I'm going to actually add a value. So I'm going to say sizes 14, which is the last one. I'm going to set it to 100.10, 100.15. All right, let's see what that looks like. All right, so let's come down here. Let's see if it allows me to create another array. All right, so I'm guessing it's not allowing me to initialize. Okay, so let me try again. Let me try with 0. Okay, let me see if it will allow me then. Okay, so let's see. All right. Oh, okay. Let's see. It doesn't want to give me that array. All right, I'm guessing there's a limit as to how big you can make the array in Python Tutor. Let's see if I manually put in 15 or 2. Let's put 2 in here. Okay. Let's see if it allows me that array. All right, so it gives me that array. All right. Let's see if I can use the actual 15. Would it give me the actual 15? All right. And so notice what I'm doing. I'm experimenting, right? It gives it to me. It gives it to me. Right. All right. So it does give me the 15. Okay. So if I were someone who was trying to learn how Python Tutor works, I would say, does that mean that it's not allowing the value to come in here? Okay. And let's see if this works. If this doesn't work, well, that means we know that that's the limitation of Python Tutor. It does not allow you to put names inside square brackets. And it seems it's not. Right? And so that's programming. That's a perfect example of programming where sometimes you are using some tool and you hit a wall where you realize that it has limitations. So obviously we learn here that we need to actually put in the number ourselves. All right? Anyway, this is how you create arrays. This is how you add items to the arrays. And this, notice we get it, okay? So we can do this. Now, because Python Tutor does not allow me to specify the number using a variable, I will show you how to do that when we switch back to Visual Studio Code. So the lesson for this this video is the fact that, again, we can create the array, okay, first, and then we can add the items in second. Okay. All right. And of course, we can always do calculations on the right hand side, and the value goes back into the array position. Okay, I hope that made sense. In the next video, I want to address this issue, right, which Python Tutor is not allowing me to do, but which is a very common thing to do when we're creating arrays. So that's the first thing I want to look at when we switch back to Visual Studio Code, and I'll see you then.